This property, number 3, held Hitchin's first tiny telephone exchange until a new one was built with the post office in Brant Street in 1904. Before then, this was the Wheatsheaf Inn. As the building had no side entrance, horses had to be led through the front door and down this narrow hallway to the stables at the rear. Every town has to have a ring where the highwayman Dick Turpin is supposed to have tethered his horse. Well, this one is Hitchin's, and it's still there today. Hine always reckoned that the better class drinker resorted to the Cooper's Arms further up the street to read the Times and smoke his churchwarden pipe. The riff-raff, on the other hand, the Toms, Dicks and Harrys, frequented the 3 Tuns. It was a Tom from the Tuns who was blamed for throwing a sheep's head through a window of Tilehouse Street Baptist Church when a service was in progress. As worshippers gave chase, the culprit ran back to the pub and hid in a corn bin down in this cellar until the hue and cry had subsided. The cottage on the other side of the arch was once part of the 3 Tuns. In 1950 it was the home of Mr. Day, the basket maker, and his wife. He was probably the last exponent of a craft that had flourished in Hitchin since the days of the osier beds beside the River Hiss in what is now Bancroft Recreation Ground. Like his father before him, Mr. Day preferred to work in the old beer cellar, where the cool, moist atmosphere made manipulation of the willow, or withes, easier. Well into his 70s, Mr. Day was busy with an overseas order on the day he was filmed, making special wicker filters for the Australian Fire Service. More often, he was producing shopping and laundry baskets for Hitchin housewives and beds for pampered pets. Symmetrical Sussex House was once the home of a Mrs. Midwinter Bentley, who, despite her chilly name, says Hine, was a very warm-hearted and comfortable-looking body. Mrs. Bentley's husband, William, a solicitor's clerk, was immortalised in the Samuel Lucas sketch that Hine reproduced in Hitchin Worthies with the caption, "William Bentley, a man of considerable abdominal dignity." During World War II, the house next door earned brief notoriety when occupied by another warm-hearted body who charged for her services. She advertised her availability by placing a broom handle projecting cheekily from her bedroom window. Then one day the police spotted it, and that was that. That cottage on the far corner has a tale to tell as well. It's about Mrs. Smallwood, a widow who was entertaining a well-known townsman who had a wooden leg. For comfort, he had unscrewed it and placed it beside his chair. Halfway through tea, there was a knock on the door. The guest was hurriedly bundled into a back room, forgetting to take his other leg with him. The next day, the whole of Hitchin knew.